Economic challenges have faced Nigeria for so long. Dr. Kenny, what would you say are the causes of the economic situations that we have in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. The problem we have in Nigeria is that we have a growing economy, but a collapsing economy. We have a growing population, but a collapsing economy. It is obvious that most of the policy they are doing in this administration, they are audacious, but repulsive and reactionary. And also, there is no interface between the monetary and the fiscal policy. That's why we have problems. Two major issues that we have. One, we do removal of fuel subsidy. It's an audacious step, but it's the policy that they had good thinking, but there's no thought. They ought to have set a proper mitigant to ensure that they curb the effect. Then the other one is the floating of naira. Floating of naira has been a problem and a situation that really creates the volatility in the market, instability, and also price hike. That is what we are having increasing inflation. If we peg it today at $1 to 1,000 naira to $1, situation will change. And also because the arbitrage in the market has been streamlined now. And if we continue to that, if we increase, and most of all those things, the people we have divestment from our country, multinational are leaving, we are now in depleting our GDP, and also the local company, we have 300 company closed down, 350 people out of job. We're seeing the export outmatching the import down. No, it's not because of that, it's because of naira devaluation. And there's no direct impact on the growth of our own. The projected growth we have is 2.98. We are targeting 3.3 now, that is projected, which was a decrease between the Q4 of last year, which is 3.46. We are now in 3.9. So we're really low down. All the economic parameter has reserved in this administration. There's a need to be very radical. Take a radical approach to do we don't need too many things. There are too many things at times. Let them do Pareto principle. Let's look at the two causes they can do. Insecurity, bad economy, and corruption. Those are the two things if we're able to do, and also ensure that we subsidize energy for manufacturing. If we increase our productive pace, we are more productive, they will prepare jobs, and there will be competition. Competition will drive down the price. The purchasing power will improve.
And of course, the solutions that we're looking at for basically, you've mentioned a few of them, but just to elaborate on some of the solutions.
The solution I'm saying now is this: we should ensure that the expenditure we're having in this country should meet the critical need. Our road, 50% are not motorable, yet we are going to use 16 trillion to do Calabar to Lagos, Sokoto to Lagos. Whereas the road that people pass, you are going to put it, it's going to be told. We're saying now that let of us even ensure that we solve our problem. The next thing is, let's stop the floating of naira. Floating of naira is causing naira volatility. It's the one that is causing hike. That's why we have high inflation. Secondly, enough floating. We spend about over cumulatively 12 trillion to do security interface in last administration. We budget 3 trillion now, which is, if you look at it, we're talking about 15 trillion, yet we've not been able to solve security problem. It is time for us to have state policing. The state, and also the devolution of power from the center. There's too much of concentration of the power in the center. You can imagine how many special assistant, senior special assistant, advisor the president have, also the vice president. When we have too many advisors, there will be confusion. That's why we have confusion now. We're saying devolve power, separation of power. Let the subnational, and let's have a template for the subnational, because subnational have created insolvency across all the states, and some states are not viable because they are not driving the idea. Let us take another second look at the subnational. Let's make that subnational very viable. Let's give them the minerals. The problem I have with this country is, what is happening to our gold reserve? Gold reserve can rebase the economy to the tune of $700 billion. Yes, but the gold reserve, why is not oil a national asset, but the gold and other assets belong to the state? Why? They should make it a national, they should legislate and make it a national asset. We can have a turnaround. And this country should leverage on the asset. We have over $3 trillion asset. Why do we turn to a beggar nation, whereas we do? Let us stop borrowing. The borrowing is too much. We are indebted to about 100 trillion now of what use? Between the last admission and this admission, we're indebted over 30 trillion. Has that changed our destiny? And the ways they're supposed to, why is it that all the prosecution they've not concluded to retrieve all the money? Enough is enough. Let's take a radical approach.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Kenny.